welcome back. I'm playing Warhammer 40,000 Gladius, and we are working on our Tyranid Impossible campaign, and we are working on a total conquest. We have about 75% of the map under our control. Last time we took out the Eldari and have now captured most of their area of the map. Unfortunately, their forces have broken off and are capturing parts of the center of the map, and then our poor forces here in the center are actually getting killed by the Eldari neutral army, which doesn't feel great, but we're trying to do what we can here. But these guys are definitely hitting us hard. We keep trying to do a little bits of damage. The problem I have is I'm worried to move because I think everything's going to be set up for overwatches, kind of like what you saw there, and these guys just don't have enough health to be able to tank a whole lot of hits right now. I'm trying to boost up our economy as well. Those frickin' scorpions just totally annihilate our heroes, which does not feel good by any means. We'll dimensional gate him back up. I think this is probably the last Chaos stronghold. It seems like the sisters in Chaos are still fighting each other, so I've been a little hesitant to just finish off the city. But I think we're going to be getting into a situation where the sisters are going to start turning on us mostly and considering us the main threat. So I think we're probably getting to a situation where I just want to kill the Chaos forces here. I was kind of hoping to get a little more of an army here though. Because I still don't feel like I quite have a strong enough force to fight off the Adeptus Sororitas yet. Alright, you just keep healing there. We'll keep advancing here. I gotta kill the Saint twice, because she'll resurrect. Alright, we got those guys down. Yeah, it's kind of funny the difference between the units in Gladius and Battle Sector. It's like the Seraphim are crazy broken on Battle Sector, some of the best units, and then here on Gladius it's one of the low tier units, so they're not very good and easy to be killed, and the Repentia can do some good damage, but obviously they're just easy to completely annihilate. The Canonist in Gladius is a pure buffer compared to a masterful combat unit in Gladius.
The Lord of Rage filled the primordial treachery describes a dark soul gift.
You know, the mechs for the Adeptus Sororitas are considered their best infantry unit. And then the Penitent engines are like so-so early tech as well. Alright, can you kill this guy? Please? Yes, thank you. Alright, we'll have you come up here. Try to kill the homunculi. Once we kill that, you can capture this. I didn't see it buff all of our units. That must mean it's a loyalty one. Which isn't terrible if I end up needing to get another city. Hopefully not with how late into the game we are. Yeah, those Dialogus are just pure buffers as well. Hey, it actually did pretty decent damage there. Move you out. You can come up to here. You can keep healing. You can take out their aircraft. Oh shit. I didn't see that there was a cliff face there. Alright, Breast Scorpion is down. You're killing the Canoness. Alright, let's let you come here. We'll get you over here to warp you down to here. Because these guys are definitely going to need some increased army to help me push. I'll take that. That did help everybody. Damn it. Alright, I probably just lost him then. Man, I just can't mop up these Eldar forces. They're just kicking the crap out of me. Alright, so these are all Adeptus Sororitas here.
Your self-indulgence is but only the beginning. Carry with you the mark of Khorne. Fealty to Khorne serves you well.
I kind of feel like Chaos is starting to focus on me more, so maybe I do want to just kill this city. I've been kind of lollygagging on it since the... Damn you. Since the Adeptus Sororitas seem to be focusing on killing them. Let's warp you back to base to heal. Oh my gosh. I'm gonna get another guy killed. Alright, he's got the Ichor blood on, so I can't attack him or he'll reflect like 300% of the damage I do to him, and that'll kill my side unit. So you just gotta be very careful when fighting those guys with melee units there. It's like if you have a ranged faction, it doesn't even matter, and those Chaos Lords are a joke, but if you got a melee-based army, you gotta be really, really careful, or that can reflect all that damage onto you, and you can definitely kill yourself pretty easily. And then taking out a Chaos Lord in exchange for a side unit is not a good exchange. Alright, you're back up. So we'll get you up to here. And next time you can move down. good. We're about to be pushing into a city, so that should be good. Actually, surprisingly, we haven't found a ton of additional Adeptus Sororitas cities. Usually they have a whole smattering of them. So what probably happened is Chaos and the Adeptus Sororitas were fighting each other. Chaos was probably beating them up. And then the Eldari got over there because the Eldari and Tau, I think, were fighting each other. And then Chaos started to get destroyed, and so then everybody was pushing back. So here's another base for the sisters here. What I'm not sure about is what role did the orcs play, because when we were pushing it did say that the orcs were killed. So I'm not quite sure how they likely fell into this whole situation. Keep these guys over here to keep clearing out that wire weed, although I've advanced kind of past where these guys are, but it definitely does not feel good that I've not had a bunch of healers get created, because now I focus so much on an army that my influence is high. So this would be like the perfect time to start spamming a bunch of Melanthropes if I had them, and then just use them to consume biomass across the map as I'm advancing, just going in a big line of them. But unfortunately, you know, it took till turn 150 for me to get there, so now I'm behind the 8-ball, so now it's like, well, it's not even worth spending those biomasses on it.
Not be halted.
Because I suspect we'll probably be beating this game here in the next 10 turns, maybe? Depending on... God dang it. Depending on how bad these neutral guys keep killing my army, I guess. Alright, his Ichor Blood should be off cooldown. Alright, let's heal. Let's warp you over here. Let's just start clearing out bodies here, so hopefully we can start moving into the city. Because once they're in the city, they're going to start getting all this damage reduction, as you can see here, which is making it hard for me to kill units. Alright, come on, baby. Let's take these guys down. We're starting to get the noose tied around the Adeptus Sororitas here. That freaking homunculi, man, I just cannot kill him. There we go. Ah, damn scorpion. Alright, let's start running you over here to fight these guys off. Alright. There we go. Yeah, we gotta take these guys out because they're making infantry, tanks, and vehicles every turn, plus a hero. So that's 4. There's at least 2 cities there, so that's 8 units. And I'm definitely not killing 8 units in their base right now. I might be killing 8 units on the map. So I should be able to attrition them down. These freaking neutrals though, man. Alright. Alright, let's keep trying to make our way to the city here. I'm actually a little surprised they have so much population. They're all the way into the 70s. But then, you know, I guess our cities are in the 40s and they stopped growing many turns ago, so I guess that shouldn't be terribly surprising. Ah, man. I was really kind of hoping we were going to be able to start advancing into the city center here. Because 1, it'll give us a defensive bonus, and 2, it'll allow us to kill the city quicker without having to fight all their units inside the city that are getting the bonus as well. These guys are definitely knocking us down a little bit. Alright, well, I don't think we're quite ready to start doing mass biomass, but it'll be pretty quick here, I think. We are going to start losing some forces, I'm sure.
You shall become a patron of disease. Let the primordial truth fortify your dark soul.
Man, I just can't... Ah! I just can't believe how much of a fight these freaking neutral Eldari are doing. So you can just imagine how difficult it would be to kill them if they actually were being fully controlled and aggressive like the regular AI is. Alright, we're almost into the city there to kill that minor one. I was kind of hoping these little termagants was going to aggro some attacks. If I can kill these guys that are in the smoke, then I can move my units to get the smoke cover. That'll give us some nice defensive bonuses. Alright, let's... What do I want to do here? I just keep lollygagging with taking out chaos here. I mean, I just feel like the sisters are the bigger threat right now than Chaos is. Chaos is just kind of a nuisance. So I feel like I should just keep advancing my army down here. But, I mean, we do need to take them out. So I think we should... Let's just do both. Let's kill these guys. Let's kill Chaos. Let's just be done with this. Alright, and then after that, we should be able to start getting all that biomass. And that should be enough to get the last of the army going. Since I do seem to be losing units every turn, especially against the neutrals. The neutrals actually seem to be killing more units than the actual AI factions that are still alive, ironically. Well, I said that, but I'm about to lose multiple units there, and that just allowed everybody to level up, unfortunately, including the city. Alright, well, let's get you up to here. And hopefully have you... Damn it, I should have done that first. Alright, you're just short a little bit here. That took him out. You work on taking out the Titan. I don't think I'm going to be able to get him out of here, so let's just fight to the death, I guess. Alright, keep working on killing these guys. Alright, we'll get you over here. Get you up here. Alright, let's do something like that. I think we just gotta pull you back to heal you, because these damn guys keep killing us. I think we pretty much got this on lockdown by now. We'll just warp you down, because you should be able to fight. Warp you down, and then with all the costs that we have, or all the refunds I should say we're getting because of all the guys that are dying, because our lower upkeep cost, we can actually go back to making our elite tier units again. Hopefully next time, if they don't put a bunch of guys along the periphery of that little city, we should be able to kill that. And then that'll cut down the amount of units they're making by half. So I'm pretty sure we're going to end up losing at least a couple units this turn. Alright, we'll pull you back to try to capture that. Have the Big Daddy come over here, and this should kill Chaos. There we go. The unintelligible has defeated the indigestible. Those elements of Chaos forces are still human, are being rendered down in the reclamation pools. Those that are foul and corrupted will be taken out, so we don't have to worry about that. Alright, let's keep this thing going, though. Because I do want to bring this campaign to a close today at this rate. It's been a little bit of a longer campaign, but that's just with how difficult it was. With the end, having to get all those different dynamics going between the craft world, Chaos, and now the Adeptus Sororitas, and who knows what was going on with the orcs. Let's get you up to here. Let you start attacking the city. Yeah, you're totally blocked in here, so I guess let's just try to kill some models. Try to open things up a little bit. You can take out the aircraft, because they do have las cannons. Which means they're going to be actually pretty decent at injuring my units here. Alright, good. This looks good. That's down. Start to advance with you. Alright. Try to... Oh, I just ran the wrong guy. That doesn't feel great. Alright, you need to just heal. He's actually got a shocking amount of units still. Let's get you over here. I almost wonder if I shouldn't get another brood hive going. I guess let's just finish off your population here with 2 loyalty buildings. That'll bring that city to a close. Alright. So, 1 city left to kill. And these damn Eldar are just harassing me up here. Taking back my resource outposts. Alright, let's pull you out of there. I don't want to lose another unit. Good. Slowly start walking you down here. Keep capturing these outposts. Keep trying to weaken their economy a little bit. Hopefully slow down their production, but they're probably so rich by now it is a moot point. Good. Alright, let's just keep trying to advance guys up as much as possible here. Okay, good. Just trying to clear these bodies out so I can get my stronger forces into the city walls. Alright, we're getting there. Slow and steady. Alright, that should be good. Just have to kill more than 4 units every turn, and we should be able to just beat them down by attrition. Yeah, because they definitely aren't going to have a base in that black area there. I just cannot take that center. Those freaking Eldari just keep beating me back. Alright, well, fire away, I guess. Alright, everybody in. Alright, you gotta pull out because you're almost dead. There's no reason to try to body block a position with the unit that's almost dead because it'll just kill them the following turn and then they'll fill it up with somebody else most likely. Finally into the perimeter of the city. Holy shit. Let's try to get these guys down. We start shooting into the city. Guys are over here. Getting closer and closer. In fact, at this rate, we might actually beat this next turn, which would be good. Alright, we'll just put this one to sleep, otherwise we're going to get a negative population penalty. And finally start generating more biomass. I can't believe how slow I was to get that up and going. Yeah. So again, this is how you're really supposed to do this, and then by the time you get all this influence going, you're supposed to use those melanthropes to just absorb all that biomass from the tiles, and then the biomass would not even be an issue for me right now. And then at the same time, it also allows you to neuter your opponents. Oh man, there's a cliff face there. Because then they can't capture that territory back for any resource bonuses because it's not as important for you because you're just doing biomass by itself unless you have a biomass positive trait, in which case you probably don't want to consume that tile. But alright, so finally got that victory there. That was a bit of a slog getting through all those guys there. I was a little bit worried, you know, had to be a little bit tricky towards the end, had to kind of follow behind the army of the Eldar there and let them attack the Chaos forces. And they were also attacking the Sisters, so they were able to sneak around there. And that really shows the impressive nature of that Trigon with that burrowing ability, because then you could just start warping your guys all over the place. So then we had left some troops over to attack the Eldar base, because once we had pushed far enough, the Chaos forces must have became weakened, so they weren't aggroing enough of their forces, and they were coming after us. I mean, as you can see, the Eldar still have one of the strongest armies even after we've been killing them, and they're not producing anything else, because the Eldar can really counter the Tyranids hard with all their aircraft, and then because our guys are all biologics, the aircraft that has that stun ability, he can just stun your guys into oblivion and then snipe them down with the Warwalkers, Wraith Knights, and the Scorpions, and the AI will make tons of those in addition to all those aircraft, so it can be a real nightmare. Thankfully, the Sisters, you know, they're actually pretty easy to be killed by the Tyranids. You have the Tyrannosaurus to shoot down their aircraft, and then the rest of their stuff is in melee, and that's where we want to be with our Scythe Hero Duel, or whatever you call it. So that worked out well. The aircraft for the Tyranids are pretty terrible, so I tend to just bypass them. Unfortunately, our heroes are easy to get sniped too. You know, the Hive Tyrant is very good, helps improve our loyalty. I'm a little disappointed with our city there that I forgot to build the production building, and so this city had been building, you know, multiple buildings, taking 3-4 turns per building, so that should have been way up much earlier, and then we could have really popped off with more influence. Finally, at the end of the game, we should have been able to spam more heroes and get them fully kitted out, but it just took me so long to get there because of the city, which was supposed to be my main influence city, was so behind the 8-ball. Now, unfortunately, I never really felt like we found great biomass locations, so we were always kind of behind the 8-ball there. Once you start to get that influence popping off, though, then you can use those Malanthropes to just run around and for the cost of 20 influence just start converting 20 influence to 20 biomass, and that can allow you to feed your economy while you're producing all these impressive units that while they're expensive up front, they don't have terribly upkeep costs, so then you can get just your biomass buildings to help hold everything together. But definitely was a little bit slow there, and probably could have had a little better selection of where our cities were created, but I just needed to get things up and running to be able to push. And then really I should have gotten more of those healing heroes going as well, but I just didn't have the influence for so much of the game. And as you can see, once I discovered that I had probably wasted, you know, 40-50 turns on that city there before I had built up the production building to turn it into a building every turn, that's definitely a bad sign, because you can see I have a full population, but I still never reached all those buildings because I had wasted so much time on that production. So that was definitely a big kick in the wiener there. But otherwise, things went pretty well for us here. I definitely think the Tyranids are one of the harder campaigns against the Impossible AI, because they're meant to use more swarm tactics, and we don't have the economy to be able to support that as well as the AI does because of all their loyalty bonuses and our loyalty neutral setting. We can never really get a full army up and running. And then actually the Forces of Chaos can be a real nightmare for us to kill as well, because they just have so many damage reductions and they do so much armor piercing. So that's why I really needed to get the assistance of the Sisters and the Eldar to 2v1 them, and then once I joined the fight, 3v1 them to be able to get the victory, because that was definitely a dangerous situation. So victory. Every piece of biomass, every atom in the air, the rocks of the planet's surface, all have been harvested. Still, the planet fights the swarm, burning it, crushing it, subjecting it to the horrors of the warp, and each time the swarm rebuilds with less biomass than before. The swarm has won, but it remains trapped beneath Gladius's ancient defenses, a swarm of ants beneath the glass, tormented by the mechanisms of the long-dead gods. And if you don't know the story of that, that's because there's actually a Catan, the Great Deceiver Shard, at the planet here, unless you're playing as Chaos, in which case you can become a Chaos God, or not Chaos God, but a Chaos Prince by sacrificing things. So I guess spoilers there, but we'll see what we can do here and check out the ending summary. So yeah, I believe that. I definitely felt like I was not a major powerhouse for a long period of time, and in fact the Sisters were actually scoring higher than we were until we were finally able to get into combat with them. But yeah, by far the Eldar felt like they were the strongest faction, and then Chaos to be followed behind. Actually, that's Tau. I actually think the Chaos is probably stronger than the Tau. But the Tau did have a lot more cities, and so we were able to get in there and really start sniping them, because I think the Tau were probably fighting the Eldar, and the fact that they were surviving as the main Eldar opponent I guess shows how strong they were actually doing, because then the Eldar came over here to start attacking Chaos, thankfully, and then allowed us to move down Ninja. And then once you, just like the Drukhari or the Eldar, once you take out a base and there's no more webways, then they can't rebuild any more cities. And so that just is how they start doing their death spiral when you're killing them. So that's really, really important that you don't try to take on the Eldar head on. You just Ninja them and take out their base from behind, because then they can't rebuild those, especially late in the game when all the webway gates have been destroyed or discovered on the map. Thankfully, the Drukhari, you know, they started to pop off here, and then they must have got into fights with some other factions, and then were dropped low, because that would have been an absolute nightmare for us to have to fight as the Tyranids, because they're probably the best against us, because they have all those damage embalms, and they have lots of armor piercing and lots of high damage units. So just like the regular craft world, those guys would have been a major, major problem. And in fact, even the Space Marines were a bit strong for us as well. Thankfully, we were able to get in there and kill their city, but we just about lost our army there. So as you can see, pretty much every time we were getting into an engagement, we'd almost lose our army unless we were able to sneak in and sneak out, like when we were attacking the Eldar there. So it definitely does not lead to a lot of durability. It's just all about doing massive amounts of destruction, and if your guys get killed, so be it, and just keep pushing forward. You know, it says that we suffer less loyalty penalties for our cities, but I certainly didn't feel like that was particularly truthful, because let's see here, we got minus 25 for city. So yeah, we're still getting the 5 per city penalty. So I think that must mean that when we found a city, we suffer a little bit less of a loyalty, because I thought that we had tech that says we'll suffer less loyalty penalties for each city we found, because we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, 6 cities, so that would be the full minus 5 for the 25, because the first city is free as our main capital. So yeah, definitely kind of an interesting faction. Not one of my favorites. That's because I don't play them particularly well. Again, your main thing that you're supposed to be doing here is getting your influence through the roof and then just spamming out a bunch of
Malanthropes, and then taking over the whole planet surface with just controlling all those squares and converting all the biomass there for anything that has, you know, greater than 20 biomass, and then, you know, you convert it with 3 or 4 units, and now all of a sudden you have 3 or 4 of your Malanthropes converting the biomass, and that's enough for you to build a Scythe, Hierodule, or Tyrannofex and help you keep pushing forward. So again, because I just never had my influence cities up and running, it definitely did not work out well for us, and then we only had suboptimal cities for like our first 3 or 4 of them, but I just had to get an economy going to be able to get our elite tier units out, because we needed to start fighting because we were boxed in so effectively, and it was only a matter of time. If we didn't start pushing, that chaos was going to discover us, and that would have been an absolute nightmare. So yeah, I definitely feel like I was in the, you know, barely at the 50th percentile even at the end of the game here. So economy-wise, yeah, our economy just never really popped off because of those crappy cities that I was making. Military. Yeah, we did well, but as you can see, every engagement we get in, we'd suffer losses, so it would make us start to drop our forces here. Research. Yeah, we did max that out pretty early. So we pretty consistently, it seems like on these impossible difficulties, get somewhere between 1 and 200, and that's where we were today as well. The AI, yeah, look at that. The Tau had over 1,000 units. Where did Chaos? Chaos had 600. Sisters had 500. So yeah, definitely some. And what about the Eldar? Yeah, 600. And then they have such powerful units. Let's see, they had 20 Scorpions, 17 Wraith Knights, or 19 Wraith Lords. Multiple heroes, 3 Avatar Kane. Because they had captured so much of the map, they had 14 Altarchs, which were giving them double resources for every outpost that they had. And 70 Hemlock Fighters. Yeah, just look at all these guys here. Just an absolute nightmare for us to have tried to go through if we had to. Yeah, they had 6 bases at one point in time with the webway readout. So, yikes, that would have been a major, major problem. How about the Chaos forces here? Oh, it doesn't show you their webway conversions? I was just curious how many bases they have, but I guess we're not able to see that with the Drukhari, unlike the Craft World here. So I hope you're enjoying these videos. That is another Total Conquest campaign completed here on the Impossible difficulty. Hopefully the audio quality here is much better, and the graphics are a little bit better too, because before, when I process these old videos, they get to be kind of blurry, but now I think we finally got that figured out to a way where it's not double converting the pixels here, which is causing it to have a real washed out appearance. So if you're enjoying these videos, please give my channel a like and subscribe. Encouraging to post more content for you. Have a great day.